hopefully. Nate says, how do you feel about the 8 points we scored in the fourth quarter?
Hey, we're getting there, getting to the negatives.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess you can call that positives. I mean, that they scored 8 points, but I can't even. Because Philly wasn't playing at that point. They had the two deep shell. Everything was dink and dunk in front of us. We could have put Heineke in there to do all that type of stuff. We obviously they were kind of just allowing it. Don't put the shirt on. Let's go. The legend of Heineke. Get in there. With somebody, hey, my guy is going to come in a little bit later. There's another quarterback on the bench that we might need to bring in. Sammy! Let's go. Yo, all right, but look, we know why everybody's here. The part that everybody loved a week ago, watching us talk about the negatives. I'm going to start my negative, Scott Turner. What in the flippity flopper? I mean, come on, man. You start off the game amazing. That was the first thing you said. Hey, they didn't run into Gibson. They ran into somebody else. We had some gimmick. Okay, cool. They had a couple early passes where I'm like, all right. And it was a struggle because we got blown up quick. Fletcher Cox came in there second play, getting us a sack. Like that defense was really pressuring us. Every time it seemed like maybe we had a big run or maybe we caught a nice little pass. It seemed like they started to focus on let's just run up the gut. Let's just keep the ball, conservative and not. And then we'd have a 3rd and 1 or something. Let's put Carson Wentz in the shotgun. You know what I mean? And then still make him go back for a 3 or 4 step drop. What are you doing? Yeah. By the time that he gets to the end of his drop, the defensive end has already come around the corner. They were talking about that all game. The announcers were, and it was kind of seeming like, look, I get it if you're playing hero ball. He's holding onto the ball too long. But if the play is designed for him to drop back 5 to 7 steps, he doesn't have that time. Our O-line proved that they were going to give him that time. Cosme, had injury issues at certain points, but Will, I need to get a drink of water. Yeah. Talk to me about your negatives because I'm frustrated right now.
But I'm going to elaborate on the Scott Turner stuff because I am a Scott Turner fan. All right. And my glass is pretty full right here where I believe that can be fixed. Like, I feel like the play calling is something that can be worked on where when we have some personnel issues elsewhere, that's I don't know what we do about that. But this is 2 weeks in a row where he's coming out with a clunker out of the gates. Yep. And that goes back to what game plan are we coming up with? What are you guys seeing on film watching your opponent to say this is what we should be doing? And he's not adjusting fast enough. Like you said, we're getting crushed. Your offensive line is getting absolutely crushed. Mm-hmm. Stop dropping go into 7-step drops on plays. Why is it that other teams can come up with quick game throws that negate our great pass rush in 2020? Took away Sweat, took away Young at times, and we can't do stuff like that. Why are we not running bubble screens, some quick slants, just very quick stuff to get the ball out of his hand? Instead, we're waiting on plays to develop or just don't even have a chance because of that pass rush. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I was sitting there just watching Scott just like, what are you doing out here, man? Like two games in a row, I can't defend that. You just can't defend it. And he deserves to be getting all the criticism that he's getting right now.
Yeah. And I mean, look, we got blown up early and often. Like I think the first quarter, they had 4 sacks on us. By the end of the first half, they had 6 sacks. We had only gained 47 yards. If I'm not mistaken, we were in the negatives in passing. We didn't get our first down until like 6 minutes into the second quarter. Terry McLaurin didn't get a catch till 5 minutes into the second quarter.
Yeah.
These are things that cannot happen.
Right.
Like, honestly, you have to go to your strengths. We see you start the game like that, getting it to Samuel. Then you went away from him. Okay, you're trying to establish the run. Cool. You're not getting your receivers in there. Like, nobody's getting touches that you need. I don't understand, Scott, sir, who we played my senior year in high school. Yeah, I'm bringing that one up because
Did you see my tweet?
No, I didn't. Yo, that was what it was about.
Yeah,
I can't see that. Yo, yeah, Scott. Yeah, you look like your offense For those of you who don't know, Scott Turner was quarterback of the Oakton Cougars, and he was a senior. Our senior year, I played for the Herndon Hornets, and we put in that work. He must have been calling his own plays because we beat them 28-0
on homecoming.
Okay? On homecoming
At
with
Oakton.
Channel 4 there.
Friday night.
I may or may not have had 14 carries for 93 yards, but that's just besides the point. Let's go. I'm gonna shout myself out. Let's go. Yo, but honestly, it looks like it's almost being dumbed down as far as the playbook, as far as some of the moves we're making, because they're not scared of us going over the top. We only did that once, and that was in the second half. We're not threatening them. And you were talking about those short passes. It's like we do it on 3rd down and 20, and it's almost like a draw play. What are you waiting for? That needs to be a 1st down play. Quick, get it out of there. Give some of those quick, efficient passes so that Carson Wentz can have some confidence. But if you're dropping him back 7 yards deep and he's getting sacked and he's getting blown up, shout out to Anthony. Big Baby was in the mix. Fletcher Cox was just eating us alive. And the two guys we'll talk about, Trey Turner and Norwell, were getting blown up and did not look good. So I'm piggyback. I'm going into the O-line. The O-line is what the
yes.
You know, like
yes.
Come on, like what are y'all doing? Like it was rough to watch. And look, I'm not going to take anything away from that front four. Who you got? Abram. You got I think Hardgraves was in there every once in a while. You had Fletcher Cox,
Josh
Big
Sweat.
Baby, Josh Sweat, Big Baby, Jordan Davis. They just ate us up. They were licking their chops every time we snapped the ball.
4 guys every time. They didn't even have to blitz. Hassan Reddick, he had a strip sack.
Yeah.
And
it was rough. Go ahead.
The only stat that I cared about in this game: 17 pressures and 9 sacks by the offensive line.
Yep.
Like, all that's going to do is spiral into trouble, and it was coming from everywhere. I mean, our right tackle gave up 3 sacks, 3 of those 9. The interior was getting pushed. If they weren't getting sacks, they were getting pushed. Wes Schweitzer could not handle Fletcher Cox. Norwell or Turner could not handle him, or Hargrave. They were in his face the entire time, so he couldn't step up into anything, which is why I was, when we talk about Turner, you got to scrap this game plan and come up with something else, because whatever you're trying to establish is not going to have any time. But that offensive line was just god-awful, and every single one of them was giving up sacks. So it's like, where do you add protection? Where do you add the extra, tight end? I mean, there's times there we had 5 offensive linemen and a running back against their 4 defensive linemen, and they got pressure.
Yep.
And what that spiraled into is then Carson absolutely got rattled and scared. All right. Yep. And when he did have time to make some throws, he didn't. He skipped a couple throws. I really think in this game that Carson Wentz, he tried to downplay it. He tried to say it's just another game. And I really feel like especially that first half, he was not going to make a mistake. He was not going to give Philly and all the fans and all the media, all that stuff, people who have been like calling him down and out, anything for it. And so he wasn't going to throw an interception. And then as a result, he held onto the ball a little bit too long a few of the times. I mean, all those 9 sacks are not on the offensive line only. I think they contributed to a lot of it, and it caused, our quarterback to get rattled. It caused, the plays to change. But I also think that Carson was just trying to be very careful out there. And he can't play like that. He's got to play a lot looser and let things fly, because there were opportunities to get, to make some plays, and he couldn't. But again, I'm saying it starts up front. It started with the offensive line being absolutely horrid.
Yep. Yeah. And look, they couldn't block anybody. So in turn, we couldn't pass. Coming into the second half, we had 50 total yards. Okay. 66 of them were rush yards, -16 passing yards. In that first half, it was an ugly first half that we had. We couldn't get anything done. I don't think Carson got over 100 until maybe the second half. Right. And for the first half, the first part of the game, you're coming out of the first quarter, he's got like 30 some odd yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it helps me. That's why it helps me to bolster and lean on my guy, Antonio Gibson. I'm proud you showed up, and Brian Robinson coming back in a couple, a week or so, whenever you can come back. Yeah, because we need you. But outside of that, this passing attack with all the weapons that we have, oh my goodness, it was just frustrating. It
Absolutely.
was frustrating. And you talk about Wentz, and once he got to the point where he started to get happy feet, then it's everything that we were thinking about. Everything that coming into the season that we were worried about. Happy feet, start seeing the ghost defender. He's rolling. 2 of those sacks, he rolled into the sack.
He did. He
comes out thinking, oh, here they're coming, rolls out, and then he gets hit. On the one that Brandon Graham stripped him, he's rolling out, and then he looks one way, and he's like, oh, let's go the other way with the ball out, and it gets hit. And
he's careless with it.
Carson.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because a lot of people are ripping on him this week for some of his play. And, it's not wrong. Nobody's wrong with it. But they said with Carson, you're going to have the ups and the downs. You're going to have the pocket presence is a concern. And we saw that. And if he was a perfect quarterback, he would not have been available for trade. No one would have gotten rid of him if he wasn't going to have the ups and the downs, So, I mean, I still go back to he's one of the best we've had in so many years and gives us a fighting chance, which is also kind of sad. But we have to find ways as coaches, like what can you do to knowing that this is a weakness of him to get him out of that situation. And they certainly did not do that on Sunday.
We got to make the adjustments like you talked about. We got to make the adjustments. We didn't seem like we made the adjustments. And quite honestly, it was very frustrating. It was very, very frustrating. You got what else? Do you have any other negatives for me? I got a couple things, but I don't want to keep ranting on this stuff.
Yeah, I just said that, the same problems on defense continue. Like you said, we had some better coverage at times, so we're still giving up chunk plays. And they, Philly was capitalizing on it. They got hyped up from it. Some of those catches, they just got to the point where they basically were like, you can't stop us. We know you can't stop us, and we're not afraid of you. And so we're just going to do it. Some of them were some great catches, some, just jump balls that they made the play on. But we have to eliminate these chunk plays. And until Del Rio and the defense can figure out how to do that, we're going to have to score a whole lot of points to stay in these games.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we talked about. It's what we talked about. One other thing that really messed with me, I'm not going to get upset because I was frustrated watching the game today about it. Penalties. We talked about the 2 PIs from Wild Goose. Ooh. We talked about the countless just penalties at the wrong time. 3rd downs, we're giving them free 1st downs. Times when we're having an opportunity to where we're driving down the field and we get a stupid holding penalty or a false start penalty or something that's just sets us back. Yeah. And it's like, are you serious right now? So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to fix and correct coming into this coming week. But
thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.